I love vintage tools, and one of the first things that I knew I wanted in my workshop was a vise. And not just any old vise. Oh no, I knew that I wanted a record vise, and I wanted a made in Sheffield vise. And that's because I'm from Sheffield, and I love the history that Sheffield has, the heritage that it has, not only with Sheffield steel, but with tools. And personal opinion, I think that vintage Sheffield tools were made pretty darn well. So the first thing I bought was this vintage record vise. Has the beautiful made in Sheffield on the side. Now, record vices were made in Sheffield between 1909 and 2000s, and they were made at the Record Tool Factory in actual Sheffield. Record has a long history. It is very much a family business. The company that became Record was started by two brothers, Charles and Joseph Hampton. And quite early on, Joseph went back to his family business, but Charles carried on and he brought his two sons in. One of them was also called Charles W, and the other one was called Horace. And they started to make all sorts of engineering vices and woodworking vices and clamps and wrenches, all in Sheffield. And they had a few different workshops, and unfortunately when Charles, the original Charles, died, the two sons took on that business. In 1948, Horace unfortunately died and they took the company public, and Charles W brought on his son Tony, and after Charles died 10 years later, Tony became chairman. So it was a family-run business all the way up to about 2000, when it was sold to Irwin Tools, who now make record vices and record tools. If you've ever been to Sheffield and you've driven around Attercliffe or any of the places where there is still manufacturing happening, you really get this feeling of what Sheffield used to be. I mean, apart from probably very smoky. It has this real engineering history, and it's always so exciting to see what companies are doing there now, but also to really respect that heritage. And many of us lovingly have record vices, and for me, I love seeing them out in the wild and spotting the made in Sheffield.